nearly lunchtime, and I thought I'd quickly pop on, say a quick hello. Look, I've got my Beekeeper's Wool mug. This, really, out of all my mugs, this is my favourite one. I mean, this book didn't do as well as any of my other books, which is strange. I mean, I loved writing the book. People who discovered it did seem to love it. One lady said she lent it, borrowed it, I'll get there eventually, from the library, and loved it so much she had to buy her own physical copy to keep, which I thought was really, really kind. Yes, so having a cup of tea. The reason I'm popping on now is two things. Firstly, to apologise. My last video, I decided to see what it was like to record it on my new laptop. It's not an expensive laptop, so I don't know if that's why. And the sound was not very good at all, very quiet to me it seems. When I played it through, when I was loading the video, and obviously I check it before I press publish, it seemed absolutely fine. I've just gone on to answer the lovely comments my really kind subscribers have left me, and the sound seems very, very quiet, so I won't do that again. This I'm recording on my phone as I usually do, and I will obviously continue to do that because that just didn't work. Unless it was just my laptop, but yeah, it seemed very quiet to me. But thank you for the comments that you've left. The reason I'm popping on quickly, apart from to apologise for the poor sound quality of my last video, was the state. Look at the state. I have come from being in the garden, and the last 2 days so I was going to buy a shed, and I think I said in my last video that, I mean, it was very, very ridiculously expensive. And I think how 3 years ago I managed to have a 10-foot by 12-foot beautiful studio built. The cost of that was only £4,000, more than the cost of what a very basic four-sided, like panels, shed was going to be. That was with no electricity, no nothing. That was just buying it and having it erected, basically. And I can't justify that, as those of you who follow me on here know. I've downsided. This is a very old house. I love this house. I really do love this house. I feel like I've always meant to be here. But it does need a lot of work. So I just can't afford to be paying for a shed when I've got all those other things that I've got to pay for, which are, let's be honest, more important. So my mum came up with a suggestion instead of having a couple of planters. So I bought these. They're 3 heights. So you've got the bottom one, the middle one, and then the high one, and then you've got trellis at the back. You will have seen them probably all over the place. I bought 2, and I made the first one on Friday, and which was, it took me a couple of hours because I'm not a handy girl, whatever. I'm getting better because I'm learning a lot of things being at this house and having to do these jobs and loving it. I mean, I really do love my electric screwdriver. It was my husband's. I didn't even know he had such a thing, but he used to do all the stuff, all the maintenance and all the stuff around our other house. So I was just going to get rid of all these things from the garage because I thought, well, I'll never use them. My daughter said, absolutely not. You need an electric screwdriver. Anyway, she kept all sorts of things that I now have and have now started to use and really, really enjoy using. I'm sure my neighbours probably don't enjoy me using them as much, but I really love using them. So I built the first plant, which took quite a while, mostly because Jarvis and Rue kept barking at people daring to walk past our garden. Then my son came back and helped me build the second one in half an hour. I mean, no problem at all. So I've got 2 out there now. And then yesterday, my brother came, him and his wife, my lovely sister-in-law. They've been doing up their garden. They bought a new home not last summer, the summer before. And like me, they're doing a lot of work to it. And their house is probably about 50 years old, I guess. So it needs updating. And they do fabulous. Their gardens are always lovely. So they took out a lot of bulbs and had a lot of spare soil and a couple of big bushes. I can't remember what they're called now. I will remember at some point. And they said, you know, would you like these? And I said, yes, please. So I went to the house with 2 tiny pots for the bulbs. I had no idea how much they had. And then my brother came up yesterday with a car loaded with bags of soil that they don't need and these huge array of bulbs and plants and things. And bless him, he planted the big plant. I actually went to lift and thought, I'm going to put my back out if I do. So really, really helped. And then I spent the rest of the day planting a lot of the bulbs and things like that. And also yesterday I went and had brunch with my mum and one of my aunts at one of the local garden centres, and which was great. And then I went shopping. Spent far too much money on seeds and herbs. And so one of the plants I'm going to have herbs in it. I love my herbs, and where I have them at the moment, as I've actually said before, well, probably actually I haven't said in here before, but where I have my herbs was on a ground level border outside my living room. And of course the dogs can go in there and we don't want that. So now I will have my herbs on the raised planters, in the raised planters. My sister's partner is a fabulous cook, and so I know the herbs will get used. The ones I don't use, she will certainly use. And then the other plant, and I'm going to have herbs in one with sweet peas and things growing up the back, and the other one I'm going to have vegetables with like sugar snap peas growing up the back. So I'm very, very excited. One of them I bought, I think it was 10 small bags of potting stuff, soil or whatever you call it. I mean, they were the biggest ones that I could cope with, knowing I had to carry them in because my son has been in London overnight. So I knew normally he does the heavy lifting. So these small ones, 10 of these things, probably with some soil from my brother, because I put that in various places. They're only about 3/4 full. There's one plant. I've now got to do the whole thing again. So I think what I'll do in the week is go with my son, get some much bigger bags, and he can obviously help me carry them in or whatever. Carry them in himself, as he usually does. So that's what I've been doing. So I'm very excited. But what I'm doing this for, apart, obviously, I'm doing up my garden. My garden is very, very blank. Scene? No, I can't think. Everything had to be ripped out by my gardener. I say my gardener, it's actually my ex-husband, who did me a very good deal. He's been very good, actually. Did me a very good deal. He helped sort out quite a few things after the very big storm we had a couple of years ago in my last garden. And so I needed a new fence here because a lot of the fence was down. What was up was literally wouldn't have lasted another storm. And I thought there was a hedge around the garden. And we have a thing here called the broncage, which means that I think it's 2 or 3 times a year. So it's probably, I think it's probably June, September. I can't remember what they're called. There is a group of people from each parish go around and they check your broncage isn't overgrown and doesn't go into the road, so people can walk past your property, drive past your property without any damage. And it has to be neat. This is all over the island, and if not, you get fined. And I thought there was a hedge around all the way around my garden, and it wasn't. The ivy was that thick, it was like a hedge. So when it was all taken away, the old shed had to go because it had part of the roof missing anyway, and it was about to fall apart. And there was so much, the weeds and everything had grown right into the soil. I mean, it was awful, and lots of rusted cans and debris, so much stuff. It all had to go. So the gardener, his chap's very kindly kept, I think I've got 2 olives, a camellia and a holly, and I've got an acer and a couple of big, I don't know what they are. So they kept what they could, but most of it went. So it's like a blank canvas. That's what I'm looking for. So pretty much like a blank canvas. So I thought what I would do, as I will be working on this over the next sort of year or so, I will actually record it and share it with you. So if you're interested in that, I will be doing that very soon. So I did do a little bit of videoing for my planters. I will have some before scenes of my garden, because I recorded that just for my own information before I even thought of this. And so I will be doing a series soon. I'll be adding in videos of my garden as I do it up and as things start to grow and come alive, because I love a garden. My previous garden, when Rob and I bought it, because the lady there had become more severely disabled over time, They got rid of most of the garden, and there were various patios. We even found a patio on top of a patio. And I said to Rob, I don't want a house that looks like it sits in the middle of a car park, because that's what it looked like. So we spent the 23 years just building a garden. And even when I came to sell it, one of the estate agents said to me that he had sold the house probably about 30 years before. And he said, I can't believe the difference in this house. He said, you don't even know it's here, because the trees are so huge now. And sorry, sorry, that's Rue. You're right. He has a drink and then does these things sometimes. So lots and lots of plants and flowers, beautiful, beautiful flowers, plants and trees, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And although that was on a much bigger scale than what I have now, this is a much more manageable scale. And I'm very excited to do it. And I can't wait to make this into my personal ideal garden. So that's what I'll be doing. So I'm announcing my series of my garden design, basically, or not garden design, that sounds a bit too formal. But basically, making my own garden, making it what I want it to be. So that's what I'll be doing. Thank you for joining me again. I hope you're having a great weekend. I hope you have a lovely Sunday, and I will chat to you again in the week.